Just a robot. Rule 63 on the internet. If it exists, there's a gender bent of it. Just about everyone loves gender bend. But if gender bend is your perfect child who gets straight A's and is going to a pristine university, then race bend is the child who you're constantly bailing out of jail. But before I talk about race bend, I want to briefly mention something about gender bend. Rule 63 and Rule 34 are not the same thing. To everybody who commented on my video, what if Goku was a girl? That was Rule 63 and not Rule 34. There are other rules aside from Rule 34, Grandpa. But anyways, now let's talk about race bending. Race bending is when you take a character and you make them a different race. Not only do companies do this, but individuals do this as well. Now, I just want to be clear, I don't think if someone race bends a character, it automatically makes them racist. To me, drawing a character with a different race is no different than drawing a character with a different hair color. And I don't think someone should be cancelled on Twitter just because they draw a Pokemon character a little bit too light. Now, I'm a lot more okay with race bending when it's done in a fan art form than it's done by a company and it becomes canonical. Unless, of course, someone's trying to race bend a character because they say their race bending fits their personality better. Like taking a character who's well known for being lazy and making them Mexican, or taking a character who's pretty smart and making them Asian. And then saying that you fixed them. I've seen a lot more white characters race bent into other races than other races are race bent into being white. Now, to be fair, there are way more white characters than there are any other race of character. I don't think if you take a white character and make them a different race, you're anti-white or anything like that. But I have seen a few people take a white character, race bend them, and then say, "Oh my god, I made them so much better. I can actually relate to them now. I showed my daughter a Black Princess Peach, and she gasped and said, 'A princess who looks just like me.'" Now, personally, I have never caught myself relating to a character because they have the same skin color as me. And I have never even caught myself wishing that a character was the same race as me. But of course, I am a white synth robot. Most characters are white. Even anime characters look like they're more white than Asian. So I can understand people wanting representation. But do you know what would be even better than race bending a character to get your representation? Making your own character! Even if you race bend a character and the race bend becomes the more popular version, like how Black McFury is way more popular than White McFury, people are still going to know or eventually find out that the character was racially bent.
But I thought that... Then you're not! Everything I know is a lie!
People in the future are going to find out that some of their favorite characters that they relate to are racially bent. And they're going to see this as a form of white nationalism. Those of you who are watching this video 100 years in the future and your society is going through this right now, I just want to say, I called it. I mean, to all of you who want to race bend a white character into something else and have it be canonical, are you really okay with a hand-me-down that the whites are already done using? No, I don't think you do. I think my absolute favorite race bending is when they take it. I think my favorite race bending is when they take a character with the word black in their name, and then they make them black. Like how Black Canary was originally white. And then in Suicide Squad, they made her a light-skinned black woman. Sometimes I don't even understand why they even bothered to race bend a character, like when they made Heimdall black. The Norse gods are traditionally white because Norse mythology was created by some of the whitest people on Earth. And no, the Vikings weren't black just because a few of them had braided hair. But you know what, let's just say Heimdall's race was changed for representation. Well, is he going to do anything cool? No, not until the third movie. One of the Warriors 3 was also made Asian, and no one cared. They even changed out the actor in the second movie and no one noticed. And when he died, no one cared. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're gonna race bend a character, at least have them do something cool. The Witcher was even worse at this. Despite taking place in a white fantasy world, the cast was extremely diverse. Now I know what you're thinking, but hold on, just a robot, you like Game of Thrones and that's extremely diverse, what's the difference? Well, in Game of Thrones they explained it. A lot of the characters who were different races came from different parts of the world. You know, just like in real life. And before someone uses the "it's a fantasy world" argument, well, would it be okay if The Witcher was a time-traveling ice cream salesman instead of what he is in the show? I mean, after all, it's a fantasy world, so anything goes, and you can't complain about anything whatsoever. But let's just go with the argument, it's a fantasy world, they can do whatever they want. Well, because they make every town and village look like New York City with how diverse it is, I never know where The Witcher is in the show. Because every place looks practically the same. If one kingdom was more white or one kingdom was more black, I would at least know where The Witcher was. But instead, every location, kingdom, city, or anything just blends together in the show. But let's say you disagree with me, that you always know where The Witcher is in the show, and you think the diversity actually makes the show better instead of worse. Fine, I can vibe with that. But no, it would be nice if all the non-white characters actually, did something. The black elves just stand there. There's a black elf wizard who does a little, but nothing as impactful as what the white characters are doing. They only race bent the background characters. They're not doing anything. The three main characters are white, the comic relief is white, and most of the side characters are white. It's only the background characters who are diverse. You also have Dragon Prince, where there's a white kingdom, but for some reason the king is black. Did Tariq Nasheed write this show? What is going on? Now, race bending can sometimes work, like with Miles Morales. At first, I used to hate him. I thought they were trying to make Peter Parker black when he was the whitest kid ever. And I also didn't see the purpose of making Spider-Man black because, well, he's covered more than a ninja. Not one part of his body is actually showing when he's wearing the Spider-Man suit. But then I found out Miles Morales was, well, Miles Morales and not Peter Parker, and he was from an alternate universe. And the movie did an excellent job at handling him. In fact, one could say the movie was kind of like The Last Jedi done right. I'll link a video down below that goes into this really well. Unfortunately, because of Miles Morales, Marvel Comics was trying to race bend and gender bend several of their characters. Some were handled far worse than others. My absolute favorite is and shall always be Asian Hulk. You see, they couldn't just gender bend Hulk and make him into a woman, because She-Hulk already existed. They couldn't make Hulk black, because he would just turn green again. And if he turned a different color other than green, that might be perceived as racist. So what did they do? They gave him squinted eyes. Genius! And of course, there was that infamous Harry Potter play. Here's the Harry Potter cast for the movie. And here's the Harry Potter cast for the play. Notice anything different? That's right. Ron is not a ginger. Now, sometimes I don't blame a studio for race-bending characters. In America, if some character was originally supposed to be Asian, but they cast a white or black person to play them, I understand. There's not a whole lot of Asian actors in America. Or in the Japanese Attack on Titan movie, it's supposed to take place in a European country. But the actors were all Asian, because Japan is a majority Asian country. Or the Bollywood version of It. Yes, there is a Bollywood version of It. And as you can imagine, all the characters are Indian because the movie was made in, well, India. But all in all, this is just my opinion. So what do you guys think? Can you not stand it when a character's race is changed? Or do you think it's completely harmless? Tell me in the comments section down below. My eyes have seen the glory of the cleansing of YouTube, debunking SJWs and feminazis too. We criticize reactionists in hopes they get the boot. Just the robot marches on.